Yeah. All right. So let's jump into it, man. Street Fighter 6.
Right, yeah.
Street Fighter 6. The showcase as came in and gone, back and forth here and there. Wheezy, all that good stuff, right? I think that's if I were to summarize it, that's how it went down. But yeah, some interesting stuff. What did you think about the entire showcase itself?
I remember we were watching it here. So for those that didn't catch up with us, however, I think I predicted everything. Did I not?
Actually, yeah. Let me put it out there. Fucking Static. Somehow you predicted everything live. You're like, oh, it's gonna be this. They're gonna show this, and it's gonna be these. And I was like, no, it can't be like that. This guy was. He don't miss.
I knew that it was gonna be a very casualistic type of video. It was because so for competitive, or if you've been following it for a while, you already knew most about what was going on, Yeah. But besides that, I think when they actually went into a lot of the, world tour information, we haven't seen that before. But at the same time, we knew what it was already sort of having. And
what it was going to be.
Right. And now, again, it was only a 30-minute video. We knew that they were going to go into that. And then they said, all right, so for 15 minutes, basically, we'll talk about World Tour. And then the next 15 minutes will be more about competitive and what was it? I don't even remember the second half of the video.
It was the second half was more about like the beta and a couple other things like the battle hub and such, the extras that they're gonna have in it, the teams, dojos, right, that you can represent, all those little extra things.
What you can do with your created character and bring them in and fight. That's
exactly. So
sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah. So that's what we got into. So the showcase, first of all. Did they get their value out of Lil Weezy, Lil Wayne, Young Money being in there? I don't know. The brother was there for I think a total, no lie, I don't know, like 2 minutes, maybe. Yeah, and even then, I'm stretching it, possibly maybe 3. But
minute at the start.
But this doesn't mean this is going to be the only appearance, right? There might be even a special launch event that he's going to be involved with that's going to help market. But I think it did its job, though. He was attached to it. We were curious. People definitely tuned in.
Yeah, I mean, it was also at a particular time on a particular date of on the 20th of April. So I mean, if you happen to watch the video and probably missed it while watching it, I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it came and went. But yeah, there we go. It came and went. But yeah, so we got that, and like you said, it was definitely more casual orientated in a sense of they were just going over a lot of features, which was great actually. That's kind of the part I want to really talk about is World Tour. So World Tour has now, we already have an idea of what it's supposed to be. Expansive, an expansive world where you can actually follow the story of your created avatar, and the paths you can take to meet other established Street Fighter names and take them on as masters, right, and learn from them, and grow your character and interact with the world of Street Fighter, whether it's Metro City, whether you're going to Italy, to India, and of course all the other stages that we're going to get. We didn't get to see everything, but even though we only got to see so much, the amount that we saw was a lot. This is going to be a very, very packed single player experience, and I am so for it.
I am not, surprisingly. I'm not much of a. I guess you could say I'm an adventurer. I mean, I've played through all of Pokemon, but that's again another IP that I like, that I associate with RPG. But this is definitely a cyberpunk route that I haven't taken yet. I say cyberpunk because there's also a lot of character creation that can go into this game.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. Now, it doesn't go into depth as cyberpunk had,
yeah.
But this is a lot of detail, and like my character doesn't look like me, but I created a general character that I'm associate more of my, like when I have an avatar, I usually make something sort of related to what it looks like.
But yeah, so it's definitely I am for it because I love single player experiences as much. I think it's great for Street Fighter to have this because historically, it's funny. I told my older brother. No, excuse me, I didn't tell my older brother about this. He called me. But my older brother called me like, "Yo, did you peep out the demo?" Which I haven't, by the way. There's obviously a demo that's out. I haven't peeped out the demo like that yet. But he was like, "Yo, have you peeped out the demo?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I saw the video. Like, did you see all that crazy, like the world tour stuff?" He was taken back by how much you can do, because he was like, Street Fighter's just done the same shit forever. And this is a completely unbiased guy who was there for the arcade, literally at its prime. Was there with MK Drop, was there with Street Fighter 2, was one of the reasons why I got into fighting games the way that I did eventually, or were always around them, was because of him. So this is a person that's seen outside looking in, doesn't have a bias looking at anything, and he's like, it's crazy to see Street Fighter do way more than what it's just always done, which was the same shit. Get a bunch of new characters, maybe you get a little bit of a story, arcade, and like that's it. You got one or two little segments there, but he's not gonna like dig deep to really be like, oh well, technically dramatic battle and this and that. Is like, no, they're not. The casual player's not thinking that. World Tour is just such a big flag to show that they are putting in so much work to make it an experience that you don't have to be a competitive player to enjoy, which I am completely for. I'm for it.
Yeah. And I actually did bring this up while we were on. It's just, it's tailoring to a crowd that doesn't play fighting games per se. It's because it's trying to be a complete game. Obviously, the previous game didn't have content like this.
No.
It just had the game on launch. And people were like, I buy it. And this is also going to sort of lead to the longevity of the game. Like,
yes,
will people sell it immediately? Will they sell it back to GameStop immediately? No.
Are there going to be is there more content that's coming with like new DLC characters, which we'll say in a little bit? When will that affect World Tour? Is now going to be consistent content that's going to be added as you grow along with it, right? There's a lot here to unpack, and there's just so many ways of doing it. So I think overall the presentation they had for World Tour was just like way more than I had expected. It kind of took me by surprise, to be honest. Like I was getting this is weird, like games that I think of that I enjoyed like single player in a lot, that are kind of fighting in the fighting game realm. Like I enjoyed Power Stone 2 a lot when I played it, because there was so much creation. Like, to get all the items, you had to run the game so many times, the story mode or whatever with different characters and all that. And another one is Def Jam. Like Fight for New York is one of my actual favorite. I know it is a fighting game. Like I think I call it. I think it's a fighting game. It's got a hell of a competitive scene. I'll tell you that much. But Def Jam Fight for New York, I think, was one of the most awesome like story mode single player experiences I've had, with like your own created avatar that's inserted into that world. Like this is no different, to be honest. And side note, I don't care what Capcom says. I don't care what Jamie gives you in that cutscene. That shit is booze. I know he says herbal tea. Fuck that herbal tea. Give me an herbal tea that does that to your homie. Then we'll talk.
So my brother actually did get a hold of the demo, and he's very casual. But again, he is like, all right, Street Fighter. I like Street Fighter for Street Fighter and like the characters. So he sent me all his videos of him like fighting people and in the streets, fighting a mime or whatever,
just rolling out.
Like, but then he also did state like, he said something about, my issue is weak. It's a bit weak as a Street Fighter game. Again, it's only a demo. He says, I feel like I'm in a waiting room fighting randos. Arcade, I'm sure, is where it's at. But what's the purpose of create a character? And I sent him the video to go ahead and watch. So like, I can understand that too. If an older player is sort of like, what is the point of a world tour if I know I want to do just arcade mode?
Yeah, it's this weird hybrid in between, because your brother's older than me too, right? I believe
he's 38.
Yeah, he's older than me. Your brother's older than me. He's closer to my brother's age. Like, I don't know. There's like I grew up definitely in between both. Like, I can play a game that it just only had an arcade mode or whatever. Like, yeah, I can survive that. But I'm also a great enjoyer of single player content. So like for me, it's like it hits both. But I can see why, you know, those that just know, like I said, the casuals that just know Street Fighter for Street Fighter, know the characters, the unique characters, unique moves, and it's like you, me, fight, let's go, are like, World Tour is cool, but might not be their cup of tea. It's perfect. It's fine. That's why they still have all this other stuff you can do in Battle Hub.
And then that's why there's the separate downloads in case you don't want World Tour. In case you're done with World Tour, you can keep the multiplayer stuff, you know?
Yes.
So, obviously, this is a tremendous change that they are doing. I think it's really helpful in the long run. We'll see. But back to like the whole trailer thing, I like the idea of each character having their own apprentice. And in my head, here's what I was thinking as I was playing the demo today. Are we going to get alternate costumes of the main character? Like Chun-Li, is her alternate going to be her apprentice? Is Jamie's the other apprentice for what's his name, Bosch, the apprentice for Luke?
Yes.
Is he going to be an alternate costume for Luke?
That guy needs to just be a DLC already. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I can only wish, right?
There's so much that this game could definitely provide, and I think World Tour is just the start of Capcom kind of planning the fly. They'd be like, we expect so much content to come out of this, because they are kind of just creating a great foundation for it, and it'll appeal to everybody, which is awesome. So, you know, they focused a lot on the avatar because they're trying to sell it. They're selling it to the casual. Remember, as we stated a million times before, as big as a competitive scene as we are still just a minute piece of their market that they want to sell to. They are still providing a lot of stuff for us, but at the same time, they still want to make it fun. Can I also make another note that seeing any kind of like seeing Chun-Li stance on anybody that isn't Chun-Li is weird. I don't know about you, it's very strange. Like seeing Dhalsim's arms wave super and it's not Dhalsim, it's very weird. Like it's gonna take some getting used to because it's so out of place. But I think like they're just their direction in how, you know, RPG elements that they're putting in, they're just putting layers upon layers, items that can affect things, layers and layers. Your design, another set of layers, like the masters you can pick, right? The movesets you can add, the brokenness you can create. It is all in good fun. Don't take it serious unless you want to get into a tournament, in which case that's different. But I mean, hey, your avatars can now also fight each other in Battle Hub in like the center floor of it, so which is like really cool. And they just like, you know, they were really trying to hammer it home that like in this demo that's out right now, you can create your character and will carry over, by the way. So all the work you put into actually getting your character together will just carry over. But they are really pushing that agenda hardcore. It's like, yeah, this is where we are about this, which is pretty dope. And they need to market it out to make it very, very clear. Because I mean, we're gonna be here to play it, because they've already gotten so much great feedback from all the previous betas, right? Like that people just enjoy the game, can't wait for it out. So they're like, okay, cool, we got the gameplay down. Now we need to kind of catch that other piece of the market, that other piece of the pie for us. And that pie is called an ad pie, which is what we're about to get into right now, hot and fresh out the oven for you guys, and we'll be right back after this. All right, and we're back. We've had our dessert, our just desserts, our World Tour desserts. And we got, like I said, we got to get a chance to look on a couple other things on the other half of the showcase, where we got to talk Battle Hub, of course, the demo that is out right now currently on just PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. With, remember, April 26th is really the day we're looking into. Because unfortunately, once again, Static called it all. He said it's only going to be Luke. It's only going to be Ryu. I was like, there's no way. We react to it live. Turned out, yeah, it was only Luke and it was only Ryu, which then kind of solidified me into not downloading it right now. And we'll see. But we see everyone else in the character select screen, but they're locked. I am just assuming here. This is a big assumption. I'm assuming Capcom's taking precautions to not having any kind of data, any kind of characters there that shouldn't be there. But I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation because you're playing a little bit of World Tour and you play against characters from different styles that aren't just Luke and Ryu. So it's like that data needs to live somewhere in there. So we'll see. we'll see how the PC version sticks out to them. Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. Once again, April 26th. Get ready to hear about that. But yeah, so the demo, that's kind of gonna be the next piece that I want to focus on. It has been out. There's no real training mode. There's like jank. There's versus mode, I believe is what I saw. There's versus mode, but there's like jank training mode where people are just like taking like this tutorial mode, and instead of doing what it says, is they're just like doing combos and messing around with the mechanics to kind of circumvent around it, right? They don't want you hitting the lab too much. They don't want Luke and Ryu to just be disgustingly developed by the time the game comes out. Well, unfortunately, it still will. But actually, I'll say that with a big asterisk. So with all the stuff that has been going down, a lot of people have been, just getting their hands on the game. Those that have been in the open beta, those that were in the closed, the first and second beta, I mean, and then maybe not in what is it called? Not